ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Om. Dear friends, we are in this shloka number 14. This 14th shloka I read and explained the general meaning also. That is, annad bhavanti bhutani parjanyad annasambhavaha yajnad bhavati parjanyah yajnah karma samudbhavaha. So that is the shloka, and we are in the context of karma yoga, as I said. And in the context of karma yoga, this yajna is being described. Yajna is a sort of cosmic scheme where there is a question of give and take, where there is that principle of interdependence of man and nature, where there is the interdependence of man and society. So you have to contribute something back to the system. So that is the overall order. So you have to do karma with an Ishwararpana buddhi. Yajna arthat karma is the same as Ishwararpana buddhi, is the same as Nishkama karma. So that is why if you do yajna, you are absolved of that, what is that, karma bandha. That karma bandha, yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. In actions other than those relating to yajna, a person is bound by this karma phala. So that is that is what we have seen. And we have also seen that yajna and a human being and yajna, this cosmic scheme of give and take, this cosmic scheme of cooperation, a cosmic scheme of this contributory action. So these two things, they are inseparably created. Sahayajna praja sruštva, they are created together. They are almost fused together. They have been created, and then the entire universe around us, the five elements which we see, they are doing yajna every day. Because unless they do their yajna, unless they do their job, man cannot survive. Human being cannot survive even for a minute. So that is what we have seen so far. And this annad bhavanti bhutani is in continuation of the same thing, same spirit. That is, I explained the general meaning. Annad bhavanti, that is from the whatever is that food, all these animal, all this bhutani, all the beings, they emerge. And then this clouds or rain, they are responsible for this anna, for this production of this food. And then yajnad bhavati parjanyah, and yajna is responsible for this rain. And then yajna karma samudbhavaha. This yajna, Shankaracharya is giving a different meaning. Yajna is also a karma. So instead of saying that one karma is born out of another karma, he says apurvam. Apurvam is a concept which I briefly explained, which we are going to see now. That apurvam is something which is a punya, some phalam, some result, which is just in store for you to give result at a future point of time. So that is what is called apurva. That is the concept of apurva according to the Mimamsakas. So let us see the Shankara Bhashyam of Shankaracharya. Annad bhavanti iti.
Annad bhavanti iti.
Annad uktat lohita retah parinatat.
Annad uktat lohita rakta parinatat.
Okay, rakta parinatah in your text. Okay, annad, not uktat, it is bhuktat. Annad bhuktat lohita retah parinatat.
Annad bhuktat lohita reta parinatat.
Pratyaksham bhavanti.
Pratyaksham bhavanti.
Jayante. Bhutani. Parjanyat. Vrushtehe. Annasya sambhavaha. Annasambhavaha. Yajnad bhavati parjanyah. Agnau prastahutihi. Samyak Adityam upatishthate. Adityat jayate vrushtih. Vrushteir annam tatah prajaha iti smrutehe. Okay. Annat bhuktat lohita retah parinatat. So a human being, not only human being, any animal, it consumes this food. Whatever is the food, of course, is very diverse in nature. Our food is different from animal food, and some other plants have their own food. Plants have their own way of, say, what is called photosynthesis, how they pick up energy from sun. So every being has its own way of absorbing something or taking from something from this universe. That is Annat Bhuktat. Here, of course, Shankaracharya is talking in terms of a human being only. He is not talking about plants and animals and all these carnivorous animals and all herbivores and whatnot. He is not talking about them. He is talking about human beings. Annat Bhuktat Lohita Reta Parinatat. Bhuktat, that which has been eaten. From that annam which has been eaten and which is transforming into the woman's blood and then the man's semen. Retas means semen. And the woman's blood. These two things, they join. Blood means not that, the woman secretion, whatever that secretion is called, that is, I think that it is called, the man's thing is sperm and the woman's thing is some, not exactly egg. So the contribution of that woman for the production of a human being. So that lohita reta parinatat. So it is transformed into that retas and also the woman's egg, whatever it is. And then these two things, they mix and then parinatat pratyaksham bhavanti jayante bhutani. All the beings, they emerge. All the beings, they are produced out of this thing. So pratyaksham bhavanti means they come into being, they come into existence. Pratyaksham, that is coming into existence, that is being seen, come into existence because of that. Parjanyat vrushtehe, Parjanyat vrushtehe annasya sambhavaha anna sambhavaha. Then how is this annam or whatever is that food produced? That food is produced from the Oshadhis. Oshadhibhyo annam. Oshadhi, we know. Oshadhi means the entire plant kingdom is referred to by the word Oshadhi. And that itself is annam. Not only that Oshadhi is annam, even bhutani, they are also annam. Adyate atticha bhutani. Adyate means that is eaten. Atti means that it eats. Adyate atticha bhutani. It eats and it gets eaten. The human body is eaten by something else and the human body eats something. So like that, all the animals also. Animals, they eat flesh. There are animals which eat grass. So like that, annat bhavanti means annam is different material for different beings. And this annam is born out of parjanya. And parjanyat means vrushtehe. Parjanya actually means cloud. But in a rather figurative way, extension of meaning, here it is referred to as rain. Parjanya actually means cloud. But figuratively, it is, it is used to give the meaning of rain. So that is it. Parjanyat vrushtehe. Vrushti means rain. Vrushtehe. Annasya sambhavaha anna sambhavaha. That is, all this food is produced. Then yajnat bhavati parjanyah. This is something which is, it is the belief of, we can say it is the belief of these people who perform yajna. Or we do not know. There may be something scientific we do not know. Because a few months ago, we saw this yajna, very huge yajna which was performed in, what is that place? Bhadrachalam. Various Nambudris from Kerala, they were called. And then at a very huge, fairly good expenditure by modern standards. And all huge arrangements were made in Bhadrachalam. And then for a period of about 10 days or so, they conducted one Atiratra Yagam. Atiratra Yagam, it was conducted by some special Panditjis who were brought from Kerala. And then, surprisingly, at the end, on the final day, after the conclusion of this Yaga, there was rain. God knows whether it is coincidental or whether there is something in that. But then there was rain. So like that, Parjanya, Anna Sambhavaha, it is something which is there in our belief system. So in fact, when there are no rains, actually they do this Shiva Kumbhabhishekam, various other pujas we do. They say this some type of yajna also is done. Some pujas we do, Varuna Yagam it is done. So all these things are done to propitiate the gods. That is in a rather loose sense. But then we are also doing something. We are also offering something into the fire, and then the belief is that smoke goes and then it goes up, and then that smoke may be causing some reaction up above in that sky. We do not know whether it is causing actually rain, but that has been the belief. And even the cloud seeding process, if we see how the modern day cloud seeding process goes on, The cloud actually, what exactly do they do in that cloud? They actually introduce some chemicals in that cloud, and that which helps in solidifying all that, say whatever is there in that cloud, and then that results in rain. So already something is there in the air. So there is something added to that in order to solidify. Maybe there may be something in this yajna because of the special offerings which these people do at the time of yajna. We do not know whether this also is responsible for some type of say transformation in that clouds, and then that again will lead to some rain. So we cannot say, but then some experimentations, I think many people have been experimenting, many people have conducted some scrutiny of all this yajna. Many people examine what goes on and what type of material, and then what sort of gas is there contained in that, the fumes which go out of that flame. So all these things are being examined, have been examined, but I do not know the result. But then this has been a belief, we can say, tentatively we can say that this has been our say practice, that yajna will produce parjanya. Parjanya means cloud, and then cloud, in turn cloud means rain. Figuratively it also refers to rain. Yajnat bhavati parjanyah, parjanyat vrushtehe anna sambhavah. Because of that rain, anna sambhavah, this production of all this, say annam, that is food, that is derived from all these oshadhis, all this plant kingdom. Then he cites one line from one shloka from Smruti, yajna, that is Manusmruti. Yajnat bhavati parjanyah agnau prasta ahutihi samyak adityam upatishthate. Agnau prasta ahutihi. So in yajna, what do we do? There is a fire, there is a huge fire which is created. There is a yajna vedika, or some sort of, say in some form, it may be in a triangular form, it may be in a square form, it may be in the form of a hawk. Sometimes that Shyena Yaga, it is in the form of what they did in Atiratra, it was in the form of a huge hawk or a falcon. So that huge falcon, that was the shape of that yajna kundam. And then into that various things are, say they are offered there. There is a lot of ghee is poured, a lot of rice is poured, a lot of cooked rice that is put there, and various other materials are there which may produce some sort of chemical reaction. We do not know. Agnau prasta ahutihi samyak. Samyak means in a proper way, in a proper manner means in the prescribed manner. There is you and I simply cannot go and throw all types of things in this in that fire, but then there is a way in which that fire is produced. There is a way in which these mantras, one after the other, there is the mantras are there, and one after the other these things have to be put there. There may be some type of, there is an order also there. Straight away all those things are not mixed and put there in the fire. So one after the other all these things are poured into the fire, and then this thing, that is the meaning of samyak. Samyak means in a proper manner. Proper manner is according to vidhi, according to whatever is there prescribed in that Mimamsa Shastra. We know that Mimamsa is the Shastra which deals with all these procedures, Yajna, Yaga and all these procedures. The Mimamsakars are supposed to be the experts. Vedanti is not an expert. A Vedanti, he only talks about Gita, Upanishad and all that. He treats this Yajna to be at a lower level. But for a yajna who is performing yajna, that is his bread and butter. So he knows the entire ritual, the system, where each thing has to be put, and then in what form that yajna vedika has to be there. All those things they know. So here samyak means, that is the meaning. Agnau prastahuti samyak adityam upatishthate. It goes towards the sun. Aditya is sun. Adityam upatishthate means it moves towards the sun. That means it goes up. This whatever say things are put, some fumes, some gases, they go up. Adityat jayate vrushtih. And from that process, vrushtih jayate. Vrushti is rain. Adityat jayate vrushtih. Adityat means actually sun. Sun means maybe because of that heat and whatnot, the effect of heat and the effect of fumes on the, say, parjanya. Adityat jayate vrushtih. From that, this vrushti takes place. Vrushti means that rain takes place. Vrushtehe annam tatah prajaha. Vrushtehe annam, and because of that vrushti, then again the rest is simple. Once we understand that yajnat bhavati parjanyah, the rest is very simple. The only process is, the only difficult part here is connecting yajna with rain. So connecting yajna with rain, where people have to do a lot of experimentation. Even in the case of cloud seeding, there are lot many doubts. Somebody does cloud seeding today and tomorrow somebody else comes and says, no, this cloud seeding is not correct, it is not scientific. It is not, even that is not a very proved thing. Even that is not a very proved thing. Though the scientists, they go, the people who do the cloud seeding, they go and then put some sort of chemicals in that cloud, and then that results in rain. So this yajna also is doing the same thing. So this difficult portion of this shloka is that only. Yajnat bhavati parjanya. Rest is very simply, we all know. That is vrushtehe annam tatah prajaha. And from that annam, prajaha. Prajaha means? All beings. Praja, prakashena jataha. Ja, jani pradurbhave, that is the root. Jani is the same as gene. It is something like that. Generation, generate is the same. Generate, gene, all those things, they are jani pradurbhave. Jani means to emerge, to come into being. So that is jani. So that is vrushtehe annam tatah prajaha. Prajaha means all those who are plentifully produced, let us say. Pra is an upasarga, prakashena jataha, that is plentifully produced. So prakashena jataha because of food. Then it is smrutehe. Yajnaha apurvam.
Yajnaha apurvam.
Sacha yajnaha.
Sacha yajnaha.
Karma samudbhavaha.
Karma samudbhavaha.
Rutvig yajamanayoscha vyaparah karma.
Rutvig yajamanayoscha vyaparah karma.
Tataha samudbhavaha yasya.
Tataha samudbhavaha yasya.
Yajnasya apurvasya.
Yajnasya apurvasya.
Sa yajnaha karma samudbhavaha.
Sa yajnaha karma samudbhavaha.
So here Shankaracharya, as I said, he is giving a different meaning for that word yajna, because yajna karma samudbhavaha. Yajna, what is karma samudbhavaha means that which is originating from karma. And what is that which is originating from karma? He cannot say yajna is originating from karma because yajna itself is a karma. So yajna, what is the meaning in this context? So he says yajna means apurvam. So because of that yajna, what happens? In yajna, in the last class I was telling the word apurvam. Apurvam is what? If you do yajna, the idea is that the Indra will send some sort of chariot, and then you will sit in that chariot and you will directly go there. So that is the one concept. If you are a Swarga Kama, that is, if you are desirous of Swarga Kama, and if you do a particular yajna only with that objective in mind, that is what takes place. So like that, people, they do yajna. So apurva is an idea where it says that whatever the moment after you do a yajna, the result is not very immediate. You can't expect result very, very immediately. And you do yajna now and then immediately the Indra is not going to send a thing. That is why they have said a concept of apurva. So it is there in store in the form of some punyam. Some punyam is there in your store, and then at some time it fluctuates, and then after when that life ends, then at that time that starts giving result. So that is the meaning of apurva. Because we can't expect result from yajna immediately, any type of yajna, because otherwise all yajnas will be challenged. Suppose you do an yajna today, and then incidentally, or God knows, it rains. Then tomorrow somebody else does some yajna, and then it does not rain. Then what does it mean? Then you will start suspecting that gentleman who performed yajna, or the very process of yajna itself. The very process of yajna itself will be suspect. So that is why our people said, no, don't expect immediate result from yajna. We should not expect immediate. There is what is called an apurvam. Because every person in olden days, every person was doing yajna in his own house. So which means every day, the moment it is over, it has to rain. It is not the system. So yajna has to be performed as a sort of duty by every person. And then this collective punya or this collective apurvam is there. And then in the rainy season, it is supposed to give proper rain. So, in fact, in our prayers also, we say, what is that? Chatusagara paryantam go brahmanebhyo shubhamstu nityam go, what is that thing? There should be proper rains and all that. What is that? There is some other shloka which we say, there should be proper rain at the proper time, not akala vrushti. Akala vrushti is bad. Akala vrushti means rain when it is not welcome. Suppose the fruit, all that harvest is likely to be just before the harvest. Suppose there is a huge hurricane. that entire thing is gone. So rain should not be like that. Rain should be at an appropriate time only when it is derived. Sakala Vrushti. So like that, this punya is something which is there, which is to ensure that there is a Sakala Vrushti and not some Akala Vrushti. So that is the idea here. Otherwise, this very system of karma will be ridiculed. Like our Jana Vijnana Vedika is there, all our rationalist associations, they are too eager to blast anything which is relating to religion. So there are several things in religion which make a lot of meaning. But there are certain things which can be ridiculed, which can be questioned, certain things like this. So that is why this idea of this concept of apurvam is there. Yajnaha apurvam sacha yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. Karma samudbhavaha means that is because of this. What is this yajna karma? Rutvik yajamanayoscha vyaparaha karma. There is a rutvik and there is a yajamana. Rutvik is the person who actually recites all those mantras. Not one rutvik, but there will be several rutviks. Yajamani, of course, is one. Yajamani is the manager. He is the person on whose behalf all these people are reciting all these mantras. He is the Yajamani and his wife. So these two people, they sit, and then all these people, there is a fellow who, there is a Rutvik who is reciting Rigveda, there is another gentleman doing Yajurveda, there is another man for Samaveda, there is one person supervising the whole process. That man is called Brahma. So all these things are there, and this Yajamani is also supposed to be not a old man. He is also supposed to be in his prime of life. Jata putraha Krishna keshaha yajeta. There is a specification that Jata putraha, Jata putraha means one who has a son already, which means it also presumes the existence of a wife. So that is why a man and his wife both are essential at the time of a yajna. And Jata putraha, he should have had a son. Then Krishna keshaha, his hair should be still dark. Of course, it should not be painted dark. Which means that this act of dharma, this yajna, is basically a contributory duty towards nature. It is a sort of one's own contribution. It is not something which is doing, it is not a favor. It is his duty towards nature, it is his duty towards that cosmic order, it is his duty towards the society. That is part of his dharma. So this duty, it has to be done right from the prime time. Not after you become old. There is not like the proverb Vruddhanari Pativrata. You should not start thinking about yajna when you are too old and then already debilitated personalities. Not like that. Not in that decrepit age, but when you are still firm and still young and youthful. So Jata putraha Krishna keshaha yajeta. So that is one line which these Mimamsakas say. So, yajnaha such a karma samudbhavaha rutvik yajamanayoscha vyaparaha karma. So, this rutvik, all these rutviks and this yajamani, their vyapara, that is, vyapara means their activity. Vyapara actually means activity. Sa karma, tataha samudbhavaha yasya yajnasya apurvasya sa yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. So, this yajna are called apurva is born out of this particular karma, that is the activity of these rutviks and also the yajamani. So that is the meaning of this line. Next line, tacha karma iti.
Tacha karma iti.
Next shloka, let us read this shloka. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi.
Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi.
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Brahmakshara samudbhavam.
Tasmat sarvagatam brahma. Nityam yajne pratishtitam. So here again he is continuing in the same vein. Where is this karma emanating from? Karma means here we are referring to yajna here. Where is this karma emanating from? This karma is emanating from who has prescribed it to you? It is the Veda which has prescribed it to you. So that is the meaning given here. Karma brahmodbhavam. Brahmodbhavam means which has originated from Brahma. Brahma here we should not think of that absolute Brahman, that Nirvikara Chaitanyam and whatnot. We should not think in those terms. We have to say this Brahma, the meaning here is Veda. See, this Brahma Shabda has 3-4 meanings. And we have to see what is the meaning here in this particular context. At the time of lunch, I gave you the example. If you say Saindhava Manaya, you bring Saindhavam, one should not go and bring a horse. One should only get some salt. Because Saindhavam gives two meanings. One is a horse and one is a salt. So like that in this context, karma brahmodbhavam vidhi. It has emanated from Brahma, which means Veda. Brahmodbhavam vidhi. Vidhi means you know. You realize or know or learn that it is karma, this karma is something which has been prescribed by the Veda. Then Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. This where is that Veda coming from? Veda, where is it coming from? It is coming from that Akshara Parabrahma. Akshara means the imperishable, the eternal. Charati means that which perishes. That which perishes is Chara dhatu, the meaning is perishing. Akshara is something which is imperishable, something which does not perish, something which is eternal. There is something which is Nitya. What is that Nitya? Nitya is that eternal order. We need not exactly refer to Akshara, that Brahma. Brahma also, it is the meaning here. Karma Brahmodbhavam Brahma Punaha Vedakyam Akshara Samudbhavam Vedakyam Aksharam Brahma Paramatma Samudbhava. Paramatma is also the meaning there. But then, from Paramatma you have got that cosmic order, that Maya. And that Maya has given a cosmic order, that Hiranyagarbha, that universal being called Hiranyagarbha. So this entire whole thing, there is an order in that entire thing. So you can even refer to that. So that has evolved certain original principles, original principles of this cosmos, original rules of this nature, let us say. The rules or laws of nature, let us say. So all those things are evolved from that eternal Atman. So Paramatma. Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajne Pratishchitam. Tasmat means therefore Sarvagatam Brahma. Sarvagatam is all pervading. Sarvagatam is all pervading. Here of course Shankaracharya is giving a meaning. It is Tasmat Sarvartha Prakashakatvat. So it is this is something which helps in attaining all the Purusharthas. So that is the meaning Shankaracharya is giving. Sarvagatam Brahma. It is all pervading and it gives you all Purusharthas. What all Purushartha you want, this cosmic order is helping you in achieving whatever Purushartha you want. So that is the meaning. Sarvagatam Brahma, that is Veda. Nityam Yajne Pratishchitam. Again in this word Yajna is coming. Yajna is something, this Apurva. Of course here that Apurva meaning is not given. Yajna is the normal meaning of Yajna. That is the ritual. This karma ritual. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahma Akshara Samudbhavam. So the overall meaning is like this. This karma called Yajna is emanating from Veda. And Veda is emanating from that universal order. Veda is something which is not suddenly written down by somebody. It is a revelation. It is a revelation of certain cosmic principles to certain rishis who were in their tapas. This is not written by somebody for the sake of some particular group of people or anything. The people who went in, who stayed in the forest, who had no self, they had nothing, they had totally renounced, and then those people who had gone into the forest and then who wanted to speculate on the or contemplate on the nature of the human being, the nature of the ultimate truth. So those people, they evolved, or in their minds, these principles, they dawned on them, let us say. All these principles, they dawned on them. So that you can call it revelation, you can call it whatever you want. And then that is that eternal order. So this Veda is that eternal order which dawned on the minds of those rishis. So that is the meaning here. Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma. Therefore, this all-pervading Brahma, this all-pervading rules of nature, Veda, let us say it is the rules of nature, the laws of nature, the cosmic principles, let us say, all these things, they are well established in Yajna. Nityam Yajne Pratishchitam. In this Yajna, all these things they are well established. That is, if everybody performs this Yajna, if everybody performs his duty according to this universal order, then things will be, things will be okay. Things will be all right. Only when each one of us say we do our duty. It is like that old story of that king. There was a small king. King means not a huge, big kingdom. In olden days, in every village also, there used to be some small representative of a king. He was also something like a king in that village, a princeling, let us say. So he was performing marriage of his daughter. So he kept a huge drum, and then he said, okay, everybody from every house, they should bring 1 liter of milk and then put there. So everybody, okay, they said yes. And then one fellow thought, okay, all the people are giving only milk, I'll just add some water. So he just put some water there. Unfortunately, everybody thought like that, and by the time in the morning, when everybody saw, when the king's servants saw, there was only water. So something like that, if I feel that I can alone flout, I can flout, and then if everybody flouts like that, this cosmic law, then we are going to lead to chaos in society, where this society they will be leading to some sort of social disintegration, a sort of chaos in society. So that is the spirit with which it is mentioned here. So let us see the words. Karma brahmodbhavam. Brahma plus udbhavam becomes brahmodbhavam. That means that the meaning is that which has Brahma as its origin. So brahmodbhavam actually means that which has, so it is a bahuvrihi samasa, vedaha sa udbhavaha karanam yasya tat karma brahmodbhavam. So that which has Brahma as its origin is brahmodbhavam. That is, it has emanated from Brahma. Vidhi means you know. Brahma plus akshara samudbhavam, brahmakshara samudbhavam, tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishthitam. These are the words. So let us see Shankaracharya's bhashyam. Tacha karmeti. Karma brahmodbhavam. Brahma vedaha. Saha udbhavaha karanam yasya tat karma. Tat karma brahmodbhavam. Vidhi janihi. Vidhi janihi means you know. You know what? Karma brahmodbhavam. Karma has got its origin from Brahma. And what is that? Brahma is what? Vedaha. He is giving the meaning Veda. Brahma means Veda. Vedaha sa udbhavaha karanam. Veda is the origin. Udbhava means origin. That is the cause. That is the source, let us say. Saha udbhavaha karanam yasya tat karma brahmodbhavam. So that which has Brahma as its origin is called karma brahmodbhavam. Vidhi janihi. Brahma punar vedakhyam akshara samudbhavam. So this Brahma, that is Veda. This Brahma means Veda here. This Veda, where is it? Vedakhyam. So which is called Veda. Brahma punaha vedakhyam. Brahma, which is called Veda, where is it? Where has it emanated from? Akshara samudbhavam. It has emanated from Akshara, that imperishable Brahman. It can refer to Paramatma, it can refer to that universal order, that Hiranyagarbha also, but here Shankaracharya is giving the meaning Aksharam Brahma Paramatma. So let us read this. Aksharam Brahma Paramatma samudbhavaha yasya tad akshara samudbhavam Brahma Veda ityarthaha. So that Veda, it has emanated from that Paramatma. Aksharam Brahma Paramatma samudbhavaha yasya tat. This entire thing is called Bahuvrihi samasa. Bahuvrihi samasa, you must be having some idea. So that, like Pitambara is example, Pitamambaram Yasasa, one who wears that particular type of shirt, he is a Pitambara. So it is not referring to the name, it is giving a description, and by that description you have to see what it is. So that is how it is. Akshara samudbhavam means that which has its origin, that which has its source, that which has Akshara as its source. That which has Paramatma or Aksharam as its source or origin is called Akshara samudbhavam. So Brahma, that is, what is that? That is Veda ityarthaha. Next line. Yasmat Sakshat Paramatmakhyat Aksharat Purusha Nishwasavat Samudbhutam Brahma Tasmat Sarvartha Prakashakatvat Sarvagatam. So he is giving some more description of what is this Veda, the significance of Veda, the importance of Veda. Sakshat Paramatmakhyat. what you call Paramatmakhya. Akhya means that we call. So and so, your name you say Srinivasa Akhya. That means a person who is called Srinivasa. So like that, Paramatmakhya, that means that which is called Paramatma, that which is called Supreme Brahman. Paramatmakhya, that is what? Aksharat Purva, Aksharat, that Akshara. Akshara is something which is that imperishable thing which is otherwise called Paramatma. From that, this thing is Samudbhutam Brahma. Samudbhutam means which has emerged. In what manner has it emerged? Purusha Nishwasavat Samudbhutam. It is so effortlessly it has come. It is something like a person's say respiratory process. So this respiratory process, this inhalation and exhalation, so it is done so naturally, so effortlessly it is done, so naturally it is done. So in this natural, effortless manner, that Veda, the universal cosmic order, it has come. It is not as though God, there is a big thing and say scheme, and then he put all those laws and whatnot. In our scheme, in fact, this universe itself is a manifestation of that Maya. The universe is a manifestation of that thing which is arising out of that, say this Maya, which is consisting of these three gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And then because of the interplay of all these things, this creation takes place. So that is our Siddhanta, that is our final doctrine. So in such a case, so this Purusha Nishwasavat, we cannot attribute any great effort on the part of that Supreme Paramatma. In fact, that Supreme Paramatma has nothing to do with this creation also. So this Maya, from that thing, this Purusha Nishwasavat, this entire thing has come. It has so effortlessly, it is manifesting. So and in this thing, there is a sort of order. In this thing, there is a question of, there is a dharma, there is a universal law which everybody has to follow. So that is, this dharma, it has emanated from that cosmic being in a very, very effortless manner. Purusha Nishwasavat. Nishwasa is that respiration. Purusha Nishwasavat. It is not as though some that universal being, that Hiranyagarbha, he was sitting and then he did Nishwasa. And then some Veda came out. And again he did and then another Veda comes out. It's not like that. We should not imagine like that. It is only to say Purusha Nishwasavat means it is just so effortlessly. And then for this Anandagiri and others, they quote this line, what is that? Nasya Mahato Bhutasya Nishvasitameta Drugvedo Yajurvedaha. This is a quotation from, I am not very sure, it must be from it is from Bruhadaranyaka, I think. So this Asya Mahato Bhutasya Nishvasitameva. Nishvasitam etat yad Rugvedo Yajurvedaha ityadi. So this Mahato Bhutasya, this huge being, this is Nishvasitam. It is in an effortless manner what has been breathed out. What has been breathed out is this Veda. This Veda is something which is this knowledge, eternal knowledge. It is breathed out by that cosmic being. So that is the meaning of that Shruti. Sakshat Parameshwara Deva Utpannaha. So that is what he says. So Aksharam Brahma Paramatma Samudbhavaha. I think we read this line. Aksharam Brahma Paramatma Samudbhavaha Yasya. So that Paramatma is the Samudbhava, that is the cause. And that from that Paramatma in Purusha Nishwasavat Samudbhutam. Just like an effortless respiration, this Brahma or this Veda has emerged. And because of that, it is Sarvartha Prakashakatvat Sarvagaram. Because it is a universal order which has been given, from that universal order, you are going to get what all you want. Sarvartha Prakashakatvat. Sarva Artha Prakashakatvat. Prakashakam means that which throws light on something. You put a torch on something, the torch is the Prakashakam. The torch is throwing light on something. Torch is making you realize, understand something and know something. So like that, Sarvartha. Artha, it can mean, this throws light on all arthas. It can also mean Purusharthas. It will help you to attain all Purusharthas. It will help you. Purushartha we know. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, these are the four Purusharthas. Dharma is just performing the, being in line with that, just a conformist, being in line with that universal order. Artha you want something more for you from that universe beyond what is there according to your say eligibility, that is artha. Kama, you are having some more desires, that is kama. Moksha is that final thing where you want to get released from all these things and then you want to be in that path of knowledge. So these are the purusharthas. So this Veda is something which is going to give you all the purusharthas. This is going to throw light on the purusharthas. That is sarvartha prakashakam, means that throws light on all the purusharthas. In other words, it helps you in attaining all purusharthas. So that is why it is called sarvagatam. Sarvagatam means that the something which is all encompassing. All encompassing is that sarvagatam. Then sarvagatam api sat
सर्वगतमपि सत्
नित्यम
नित्यं
सदा यज्ञ विधि प्रधानत्वात्
सदा नित्य यज्ञविधि प्रधानत्वात्
यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम.
यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्.
So though it is sarvagatam api sat, though it is so over all encompassing, it is yajna vidhi pradhanatvat yajne pratishthitam. Where is it pratishthitam? Where is its focus, or where is its base, or where is its balance located, or center of gravity located? That is in yajna. Nityam yajne pratishthitam. Pratishtha is one word which is specifically used in this Vedic this Upanishads. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, Taittiriya Upanishad says. Brahma is the support, Pucham Pratishtha. Pucha is the tail. So in that mantra says Brahma is like the tail of an aeroplane, the tail of a bird. The tail of a bird is something which gives stability. It is the tail of a bird which gives the stability to the bird, something like the tail of an aeroplane. So like that, Pratishtha is something which gives stability. That which makes, say here, Yajna Pratishthitam means this universal order is established in Yajna. Because unless all people they follow this universal order, there will be chaos. So that is the meaning here. Sarvagatam api sat, though it is all encompassing, Nityam means sada, always. Yajna vidhi pradhanatvat yajna pratishthitam. Yajna vidhi pradhanatvat. Because this yajna vidhi, this duty which every man has to do for this collective, for the collective samashti. So because of that duty, this is well established in Brahma, or this is very well established in Yajna, not Brahma. This thing is well established in Yajna. Then Nityam Yajne Pratishthitam. So Pratishtha means that which you can note down. Pratishtha means a support, that which gives stability. Brahma Pucham Pratishtha, that also you can note down. Yajna vidhi pradhanatvat yajne pratishthitam. Okay, let us read the next shloka. Next shloka, there is no introduction. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayah aghayurindriyaramo mogham partha sajivati. So this shloka is telling about somebody who wants to flout that universal order, or that wheel, or that who wants to put a spoke in that wheel. So evam pravartitam chakram na anuvartayati iha yaha. So one who say this wheel has been set into motion, this cycle or wheel, it has been set into motion. Evam pravartitam chakram, it has been set into motion. Na anuvartayati iha yaha. Somebody who doesn't want to follow, somebody who wants to break it, so put a spoke into that. So such a man, he is aghayu indriyaramaha mogham partha sajivati. Hey Partha, O Arjuna, that man's life is futile. That man's life is a very, very sinful life. So in these words, this shloka is condemning a person who wants to put a spoke in that wheel of nature. So there is a cosmic principle of give and take, that principle of interdependence, where you take something from that samashti and give back something to that samashti. And somebody who doesn't want to do that, he is actually a papishta, aghayuhu. So that is the meaning here. Let us see. Evam pravartitam chakram yaha na anuvartayati. So yaha, a person who na anuvartayati, that is, he doesn't want to follow, he doesn't want to obey, he doesn't want to continue that rotation. And then what? Evam pravartitam chakram, this wheel which has been set into motion. So such a man is aghayuhu. Aghayuhu means a person with a sinful life. Shankaracharya is giving a very detailed meaning of that aghayu. A person who is having a sinful life, a sinful existence. His very breathing is ayu, actually means prana also, prana which we inhale. So his very breathing is, he is breathing sin and breathing out sin. So such a sinful person. Aghayuhu. Indriya Ramaha. One who is only interested in the pleasures of indriyas. One who is actually dwelling in his own indriyas. Indriyeshu aramanam. That is, he is only dwelling in his own indriyas, he is only sporting in his own indriyas, he is having only those pleasures of indriyas. So such a man, mogham sa jivati. Hey Partha, mogham means futile. His life is futile. There is no difference between him and some other dog or something like that. So he is leading such a wasteful, futile existence. So that is the meaning of the shloka. Words are evam, in this manner. Pravartitam means pravartitam is rotated, which has been set into motion. Chakram, chakram is that wheel or cycle. Na plus anuvartayati plus iha. Na anuvartayati iha. Na anuvartayati. One who does not follow. Iha means here. Here means while in this world. Na anuvartayati iha. Yaha. Yaha means a person who. Then aghayuhu. Agha plus ayuhu. Aghayuhu. Agham means sin. Agha ayuhu. A person who has that sinful life. Ayu means jivanam, life. So aghayu means a person with sinful life. Indriya plus aramaha, indriya ramaha. Aramaha means just indulgence. Aramaha is indulgence. Indulgence in indriyas. Indriya ramaha. One who indulges in indriyas. Mogham. Mogham means futile. Partha. Hey Partha. Sa jivati. Such a person, he is living a very, very wasteful, useless, futile life. So that is the meaning. Let us read this bhashyam. Evam iti.
Evam iti.
Evam itham.
Evam itham.
Ishwarena.
Ishwarena.
Veda yajñapurvakam.
Veda yajñapurvakam.
Jagat chakram pravartitam.
Jagat chakram pravartitam.
Na anuvartayati iha loke.
Na anuvartayati iha loke.
Yaha.
Yaha.
Karmanyadhikrutah san.
Karmanyadhikrutah san.
Aghayuhu.
Aghayuhu.
Agham papam.
Agham papam.
Ayuhu jivanam yasya saha.
Ayuhu jivanam yasya saha.
Saha aghayuhu.
Saha aghayuhu.
Papa jivanaha iti yavat.
Papa jivanaha iti yavat.
Okay, we will stop here. Evam. Evam means in this manner. Itham. In this manner. Ishwarena Veda Yajna Purvakam Jagat Chakram Pravartitam. Ishwarena, by the Lord, or that cosmic being who is lording over this entire universe. So he has put into motion, he has set into motion Veda Yajna Purvakam. Veda Yajna Purvakam means that which is associated with Veda and Yajna. So Veda is some universal orders, some universal principles. So universal principles are revealed in that Veda. And then this Yajna is the process of implementing all those rules. There are certain set of rules, and then this Yajna, there is an established procedure as to how to follow those rules. So this Veda and Yajna are created, say, along with this human being. So the human being is not independent, and then human being is a part of that universal scheme, is a part of that order. So Veda Yajna Purvakam Jagat Chakram Pravartitam. This chakram, this wheel has been pravartitam. Pravartitam means it is already set into motion. Pravartanam, Varta Dhatu, Vartate, Pravartate, Pravartitam means already set into motion. Then Iha means here, Loke, in this world. Yaha, a person who is that person? Karmani Adhikrutaha. So we repeatedly get this word Adhikruta. Who is this Adhikruta? A person who is bound to do a duty. A person who is obliged, on whom something is enjoined on him, some duty is enjoined on him. So he is Adhikruta, otherwise called Adhikari, somebody who is an Adhikari. That person, he is an Adhikruta. Says Karmani Adhikruta Hasan. That means a person who has not gone to that stage of Jnana Nishta. A person who is in that stage of Jnana Nishta, we are going to see in the next shlokas. But in this shloka, we are still talking about a person who is at a lower level. So a person at a lower level should not feel, okay, I am not anywhere in the Jnana Nishta, let me enjoy, let me indulge in all sensual pleasures, he cannot say. So he has to do his job in consonance with dharma. So that is the meaning. So karmani adhikrutah san aghayuhu means agham papam. Agham, as I said, is papam. Papam is sin. Agha ayuhu jivanam yasya saha aghayuhu. Jivanam means life. So that means he is living by life, by sin. His very livelihood is sin. He is leading a very, very sinful life. That is, he is not contributing his might to that universal order. He is only receiving, but he is not contributing anything. He is not doing his job. He is not doing his dharma. As a grihastha, he is supposed to do this pancha yajnas. So you see, grihastha, he is having this fivefold obligation, which I was saying in the last few classes. This Brahma Yajna is an obligation. He is what we are doing is Brahma Yajna. That is, you are sitting here studying Gita, and I am here sitting here teaching some Gita. So we are both interested in knowing what is the what is the nature of Brahman, what is the nature of self, and all that. So this is a Brahma Yajna. So Brahma Yajna is something which is prescribed. Bhuta Yajna, somebody comes to your house, not house, that is Atithi Yajna. Bhuta Yajna is giving foods to some animals, lower animals. Manushya Yajna, treating Atithis, or giving food to the poor or needy people. Then likewise Pitru Yajna and Deva Yajna, those things are there. So like that, these are the obligations. These are the obligations which hold the society. That is, all these things, they hold the society, and that is why it is called dharma. In fact, that one meaning, where is this meaning? Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi tasmat sarvagatam brahma. In fact, in the last shloka itself, Madhusudana Saraswati, another commentator whose name I repeatedly mention, so he gives that meaning, tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. That last line of that last shloka, he says, nityam yajne pratishtitam. The meaning of yajna, Madhusudana Saraswati says, yajno dharmakhyah, dharmakhyah. Yajna, he is giving the meaning of dharma. Dharma, why? Dharanat dharma uchyate. That is, that which holds the society, that which integrates the society, that which holds the society from disintegrating. That is called dharma. Of course, there are bigger definitions for dharma. This smallest definition, compact definition is that which holds the society by certain laws. What are all these laws? The Veda itself is a law. So that is the picture here. Karmanya adhikrutah san aghayuhu papam ayuhu jivanam yasya saha aghayuhu papa jivanah. One who is flouting that dharma, one whose work is not in consonance with that cosmic dharma. Aghayuhu papa jivanah iti yavat. So such a man, he is a papa jivanah, he is a sinful person. Next, Indriya Ramaha, Indriyaihi Aramaha, Aramanam Akrida Vishayeshu Yasya Saha. Indriya Ramaha, Mogham Vrutha, He Partha, Sajivati. He Partha, he is the address. O Partha, Sajivati, he lives. Sajivati means he lives. What? Indriya Ramaha. Indriya Ramaha, he is explaining Indriyaihi Aramaha. Aramanam Akrida. Aramanam means Akrida, just indulgence. That is the proper translation, is indulgence. Indulgence in all these Indriyas. Indriyaihi Aramaha Akrida. Indulgence with, you got to here it is used in the Tritiya Vibhakti. Indriyaihi. Tritiya Bahuvachanam it is used. So we should say this indulgence with Indriyas. Indulgence with the help of these sense organs. So these things, Indriya Ramaha, Vishayeshu, where is he playing, where is he sporting? He is sporting in all these sense objects. He is sporting in all these sense objects with his senses. So he is, in other words, he is enjoying all sensual pleasures. So that man, that person is called Indriya Ramaha. Mogham means vrutha, waste, futile. He jivati, his existence is very futile. Next line, Tasmat Ajnena Adhikrutena Kartavyameva karma iti Prakaranarthaha. So the overall, what is the Prakaranarthaha? Prakarana is this particular context, this particular passage or this particular chapter. The meaning, the purpose, the purport of this entire discussion is to say that in this Vedic scheme, there are two things called Karma Yoga and there is what is called Jnana Yoga. Agnyasya adhikrutasya, for that man who is not qualified for that jnana yoga, for the person who is not qualified for that, he has to do his duty in this world. He has to follow this cosmic order. It is not as though that sannyasi will flout the cosmic order. He is also in the cosmic order, he is doing something else. That of course we will see in the next shloka. But then here, this adhikrute, the karma he is referring to, this yajna karma. 5 minutes? Okay. And here karma means yajna type of karma. Tasmat, therefore, ajnana means by the ignorant person. Ignorant means not somebody who is totally ignorant. He may be, as we say, Vedantic ignorance, let us say. Vedantic ignorance is, he may be a scholar in other fields, he may be a great historian, but if he has not made any self-inquiry, he is an ignorant man. So like that, ajnana adhikrutena, that is somebody who is an adhikari, on whom some duties are enjoined on him. Then kartavyameva karma. So he cannot escape from karma, so he has to do karma. Iti prakaranartha. That is the meaning of this particular context. Then next line, prag atmajnanishta yogyata praptehe
प्राग आत्मज्ञान निष्ठा योग्यता प्राप्तेः
तादर्थ्येन कर्मयोगानुष्ठानं अधिकृतेन अनात्मज्ञेन कर्तव्यमेव इत्येतत् न कर्मणामनारम्भात् इत्यतः आरभ्य शरीरयात्रापि च ते न प्रसिद्ध्येद कर्मणः इत्येवमन्तेन प्रतिपाद्य यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणोऽन्यत्र इत्यादिना मोघं पार्थ सजीवति इत्येवमन्तेनापि अन्तेनापि ग्रन्थेन प्रासङ्गिकं अधिकृतस्य अनात्मविदः कर्मानुष्ठाने बहुकारणमुक्तं तदकरणे च दोषसंकीर्तनं कृतम्. So it is a long sentence which meaning is very, very simple. So the meaning is like this. He is quoting some shlokas which we have already covered. All these shlokas which Shankaracharya quoted, we have already covered. The meaning is simply like this. Prasangikam adhikrutasya anatmavidah karmanusthane bahu karanamuktam. Adhikrutasya. We repeatedly we are coming across this word for somebody who is entitled to do a work, who is bound to do a work. Anatmavidah. He is an anatmavit, who has no knowledge, who is not in that knowledge path. Anatmavidah. Karmanusthane bahu karanamuktam. So, lot many reasons have been advanced. Lot many, reasons, bahu karanam. Lot many reasons, lot many arguments have been advanced, saying that this man, an ajnani, he has to jolly well do karma. And it is also said, tad akarane cha dosha sankirtanam krutam. Tad akarane, by not doing it, tat akarane means that by not doing that, dosha sankirtanam krutam. That is, there is some adverse effect. But in order to substantiate it, he has quoted the shlokas which we covered earlier, which is again very simple only. We will just quickly finish. Is the time over?
No,
2 minutes, okay. Prag atmanishta yogyata praptehe. That is, before this atmajnana nishtha is attained. Before the attainment of this atmajnana nishtha, before the attainment of that level relating to self-realization, then tadarthyena, for the sake of it, tadarthyena means for the sake of it, karma yoga anushtanam adhikrutena anatmajnena kartavyam. Adhikrutena anatmajnena means by somebody who is an adhikari and also who is an anatmajna, who is an ignorant man, karma yoga anushtanam kartavyam. That means he has to do this karma yoga. Karma yoga, we have seen what is karma yoga. Kartavyameva. Iti na karmanam anarambhat ityatah arabhya. This shloka we have seen. Na karmanam anarambhat. We have seen that shloka. Sharira yatra pichate na prasidhyeda karmanaha. We have seen this shloka also. By akarma, by simply abandoning all, giving up all karmas, even your daily life day-to-day life is impossible. That is what he said. Ityevamantena pratipadya. Then again he said, yajnarthat karmanonyatra ityadina So starting with yajnarthat karmanonyatra, he also related this karma yoga with yajna. And then by starting with that shloka yajnarthat karmanonyatra, then in this shloka, in this current shloka which we are discussing, mogham partha sajivati, his life is futile. So with all these things, in this context, the overall meaning is that you have to do karma. A person who is not in that jnana path, he has to jolly well do this karma and follow this universal cycle. So that is the meaning here. So I think we will see the avatarika in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.